Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to be continuing down the Silva's chapter 6, Darkness at Heart. And it's been 2 days since I've played this game, so I hope I remember what happened last. So they had just encountered this angry pirates. Silva went around and beat them all up. And then they took the remaining nobles to their island that is associated with the Quid king. I believe it's kind of like a safe house. It's got a little mansion there. And then they were calling for help. Well, then the help never really came. So now they decided, well, we have to leave and go to Quid, see what's going on. And now there's a coup happening. We have to avoid it. And all the important nobles, all the members of Catarina's group is like, you're not leaving us behind. And so now they're going to go with them. So that's where we are today. We all board the Sigrid. On board are the student council members, Silva, Rosie, me, and some of the lingering soldiers, the premier's bunch too. The Quidian passengers and sorcerer nobles remain behind on the island, along with half of the soldiers tasked to protect them. I know this is a tense situation to secure the kingdom of Quid and our safe passage home, but... She's in fantasy heaven. I am just excited to be on one. The deck is stocked with cannons and barrels, completely unlike the Vinculum. It is almost stereotypically Pirate-y. She's in fantasy heaven too. Speaking of, Sophia came with Nicole because she really likes that novel. That lady Giordo stopped me before I read it. I considered borrowing it from Sophia after we returned from our walk on the deck. Then I hear a sigh from behind us.
二人とも正確には海賊じゃなかったから海賊船じゃないとは思うけどな。
It's probably like a mercenary ship. Oh, he's right. Silva and the other soldiers are still in their pirate outfits, so it totally slipped my mind.
まあ海賊ってのもあながち間違っちゃいないけどな。実際数年ぐらいはこの格好でやってるわけだし。
ん？数年って。
I know, what's up with that?
ああ、実は今までも最小の奴らの悪事を阻止するためにバイス海賊団として働いてたんだよ。
So the premier really knows you and really doesn't like you.
最小派の連中が犯罪まがいのことをするのはビンクルム号が初めてじゃないからね。
関税逃れなら可愛い方。金融出品の密輸やらなんやらとまあ悪どい商売で私腹を肥やしててな。そいつらの妨害工作が俺らバイス海賊団のお役目ってわけだ。
なるほど。それがバイス海賊団の真の目的だったのですね。
うまく証拠がつかめれば苦労はしないんだけどね。
あいつら尻尾をつかませないのだけはうまいからな。ま、正規の方法で捕まえられないんじゃこっちも裏から叩くしかなかったってわけだ。
なるほど。
クイード国内は随分と面倒なことになっているようですね。
ま、どこの国もそんなもんだろ。
It is. They rarely mention it, but judging by the prince's face, the sorcerer probably has its issues too.
島にいる間、散々最初を尋問したが、口も割らなかったしな。骨が折れそうだ。
Silva glances over at a door leading inside. The premier's group are currently imprisoned deep inside the ship. I saw Silva swearing as he boarded the ship. It seems like he's struggling to get information from the premier.
それよか。そろそろ港が見えてくる頃だ。船を降りる準備をしとけ。
もう着くの？
ああ。俺らの拠点に使ってたあの島は比較的本土に近いとこにあるからな。
そういえばクイードの領海線はブラン海域の中にあったな。すでにクイードの海域に入っていたというわけか。
でも普通に上陸していいんですか？海賊船として活動していたとなると港からは入れないと思いますが。
ああ、それなら大丈夫だ。普段使ってる上陸口があるから。
Yeah, I'm like, they've got to know his ship by now. He says, but his face turns doubtful. Silva leans over the deck railing, trying to see into the distance.
なんだ、妙な船が行く手を塞いでやがる。海軍の船には見えねえが。
Silva peels his eyes and then gasps. He whips around suddenly.
カタリナたちは船室に戻ってろ。おいてめえら、舵を取れ。サングリード海賊団がいるぞ。
Oh my goodness. What are they doing there?
サングリード海賊団って撤退したんじゃ。
その逃げた船がここで待ち伏せしてやがった。罠だ。
Whoa. At that moment, an explosion thunders. A pillar gushes up from the water nearby. They're firing cannons at us.
くそ、もう撃ってきやがった。今あの数とやり合うのは無理だ。進路を変えるぞ。イエスサー。そこの風使いに頼みがある。悪いがその風の魔力とやらでできそうなら砲弾の軌道を船に当たらねえようそらしてくれ。
Hey, you just make the ship go faster.
ああ、力は尽くそう。
微力ではありますが、私もお手伝いしますわ。水の魔力で壁を作れば少しは勢いを弱められるかもしれませんもの。
Those who can use magic are dealing with the cannonballs, while the Waste Pirates' private army works to change course.
おっとととと
The ship suddenly lurches and I almost fall. Keith grabs my arm at the last moment.
姉さん、ちゃんと手すりに捕まって振り落とされないでよ。
I know, you've already done that once.
ありがとうキース。
I cling desperately to the railing and do my best to stay on my feet. But before the ship can finish changing directions, the Sangry Pirates' fleet is already upon us. Oh my goodness.
くそ、雪原された。迎撃用意。
あら、僕たちも剣で戦いましょう。
ああ。
They were given swords. Just as Giorda and Alan draw their swords and take their stances, the first Sangry Pirates jump aboard.
死にたくなけりゃおとなしくするんだな。
あんたらの戦利品を引き渡せば乱暴にはしないぜ。
は海賊の言うことなんざ誰が信用できるってんだよ。
She's flinching. There's no time to get inside. The battle has begun.
おかしら、さっさとこんなやつら海に叩き込んじまいましょうって。それじゃあ取引にならねえだろう。最小と魔力持ちを連れて行かねえとな。
Nincompoops.
ち、狙いはそれか。
The boss? Are you after Silva? He beat you all up last time. I've seen those pirates Silver before. I know, and he's already kicked your butt.
おかしら、もう我慢ならねえよ。このわがままな女、なんとかしてくださいよ。
Oh yeah, he wasn't there in the last episode.
ちょっとシルだ。私も我慢ならないわ。この薄汚い海賊をなんとかしなさいよ。
ああ、だだうるせえ。おいモーガン、この女を黙らせとけ。
いや、俺もこんな女のおもりはごめんだな。さっさと海に叩き込んじまいましょうぜ。
It's the same guys from the fan disc. That's right, they're the pirates that showed up in the fan disc that Atsu was playing. I put the fan disc out of my mind. At this rate, I'm headed for a doom flag. But as I stop to wonder how I can escape from the pirates, I see them go into a frenzy when they spot Maria.
Oi! いたぞあの女だ光の魔力保持者を狙えイエス
Huh? They're going after Maria? Maria stands rooted in place as the pirates close in on her.
マリアは連れて行かせないわ
Letting go of the railing, I rush to Maria. But I am not the only one. In a blur, someone appears between me and pirates. Silva.
悪いがこいつらは渡せないな。俺らの大切なお客なんでんな。
These ones are hands off. Kick his butt. Funny. Nice. Silva knocks the pirate to the ground with a single kick. He turns roundabout, kicking a second approaching from the other direction. Silva knocks down the pirate one after another, tossing them to the sea below. He almost looks superhuman when he fights. Maria and I can only watch mouths agape. Silva's as strong as ever. He's fast too. All by himself, Silva defeats the pirates that were coming for Maria. He is so powerful that he almost feels like cheating.
お頭女に近寄れねえっすよくそお前は船内を調べてこいせめて最小のやつを回収しねえと
Who's the boss? Oh, the premier. I'm like, what are they talking about?
そうはさせませんよはあ
This time, the princely duo Giordo and Alan appear to challenge Morgan and Akeem. Seeing that they are at a disadvantage, Akeem and Morgan start to back away, faces pale. Some pirates you guys are.
お頭どうするっすかくそこうなったら撤退って船がねえ
Huh? I follow Morgan's line of sight to find this angry pirate ship alongside our own have completely vanished.
そんなバカな俺らの船が
Just toss him overboard.
この船は帆船だからな。風の魔力で加速し、海賊船を巻いておいた。
That's what I suggested in the beginning. They wouldn't even be here.
水の魔力で視界もわずかですが遮っておきましたし追いついてくることはできないと思いますわ
これがソルシエの魔力ってこの船に乗り込んだ他の奴らがいないぞ野郎どもどこ行きやがった
In the water.
ああ、あなたの手下たちも全員海に叩き込んでおきましたよ。
Jared's like, yeah, they're gone. He's right. Looking around, there's not a single pirate. Morgan and Akeem are the only ones left. Silva, the pirate army soldiers, and the student council members encircle them.
残るはお前ら二人ってわけだ。それで誰との取引だか聞かせてもらおうじゃねえか。
くそ乗り移ったのが運の尽きってわけかちくしょう分かってりゃ大砲でやり合ったってのに
Actually tried that.
俺らに喧嘩を売ったってことは覚悟できてるんだろ
Wait, no, you guys lost last time. Oh, this guy is mad at you. Silva makes a threatening grin, his pistol glinting as he points it at Morgan. The angry pirate's captain, who attacked twice before, has been captured by Silva. After escaping the Sangren pirates, we successfully land in Quid. And after landing safely in Quid, we are now heading to Rosie's mansion by carriage.
いやー誰も怪我しなくてよかったわ
Nothing like a pirate fight in the beginning of the chapter. After arriving at the port, the Premier's faction and the pirates that were captured were taken to the castle. Rosie makes various arrangements, including our current safe travel by carriage.
ええ。しかもクイードでのクーデターも誤報だったという話ですし、これで安全にソルシエにも帰れそうですね。
Maybe it's not a diversion or misinformation.
え、誤報だったの？
うん。そもそもあの手紙が罠だったらしいんだ。
Oh, that's what they want you to think. If it wasn't for the coup that was in the last chapter, I'd say like sure. Oh yeah, it was a trap, but it might not be. Frankly, that sounds plenty ominous too. Silva, who is sitting across from me, clicks his tongue in irritation.
俺らが最初の計画を潰して島に潜伏してたからな。焦った最小派がおびき寄せるために自分らの手札使ってあんな罠を張ったんだろう。
最小派側もマルコルムバを連絡手段に用意していた可能性を考えておくべきだったよ。
ま、予定通りに騎士団の迎えもなかったからな。つい焦っちまった。
I see.
騎士団の迎えが来なかったのも、あのサングリード海賊団たちが沖合を塞いでいたからなんでしょうね。
ええ、おそらく最小派にあの島の場所が特定されるわけにはいきませんからね。
にしてもあのサングリード海賊団がまさか最小派の下についていたとはな。
I mean, he tried to recruit you, right? Silva scowls while Rosie speaks inquisitively.
手を組むというよりはただの雇われだったみたいだけどね。
だがさっき軽く締め上げたら、最初にサングリード海賊団が襲ってきてたのも最小派に言われたからって話じゃねえか。
そうなの？
ああ、もともと最小の計画通りことが進んでりゃ通らない海域だからな。そこを通ったら襲えって言われてたみてえだ。
農林港の用意周到さは噂通りですね。
だが略奪を楽しむあのならず者集団が貴族が差し出した金であっさり動くとは思えねえんだけどな。
Sounds complicated. But there actually wasn't a coup. I guess that's what really matters. When I peek out the carriage, I see everyone rushing around in a hurry. Their expressions seem a bit dark. The townscape is clean and everyone walking seems well dressed, but sometimes I spot someone who looks homeless. This isn't because of a coup. There are distinct social classes in Sociere, but I can't recall seeing a homeless person in the capital. Silva glances out the window.
ソルシエとは街の雰囲気がだいぶ違うか。
おや、まあ。
確かにオートだというのにどことなくすさんでいますね。
これでも数年前よりは格段に良くはなったんですけれどね。
残念ながらこれが普段通りのクイートだ。これで発明大国だって言われてるんだから笑っちまうよな。
Silva's glare is as sharp as his words. His anger is almost palpable. His expression doesn't mask his anger.
結局生活が豊かになるのは上の人間だけ。特権を握ってる奴らだけなんだよ。発明大国なんて名前のくせに金がないと教育すら受けられねえ。一般市民には発明家や研究者になるなんて夢のまた夢ってわけだ。画期的な発明があったとしても、それを普及させるための生産労働を担うのは仮想の人間って決まってる。特にあいつらは最悪だ。貧困層の救済と謳って仕事をあてがうが、安い賃金しか与えやしない。結局貧しいやつは貧しいまま、利益で甘い汁を吸えるやつらは超えていくんだよ。
あいつら？
最初セットノーディンとその一派だよ。
最小のやつは結果を出せばいいと思ってる。でも奴のやり方で結果とやらが出ているとしても、国の実情はこうだ。
国益が上がったところで国民が幸せじゃなきゃ、それは成功しているとは言えない。だから国王はそれを変えたいと思っているんだ。
ん？国王は変えたいって、あれ？クイードでは最小の考えの方が優先されてるの？
うん。最初は先々代の王の時代から政治の中枢にいるからね。正直国王よりも今は権力を持っている。
国王派と最小派との対立が苛烈だとは聞いていましたが、そこまでですか。
はい。
しかもやり方が姑息で汚ねえ。撤回できないよう先回りした上で反論させないよう裏で手を回してくるんだ。今回ようやく尻尾をつかめたから最小本人は捕獲できたか。あいつを支持する貴族は多いからな。
うん。最小の施策によって甘い汁を吸っている貴族は山ほどいるからね。どう出てくるか。それこそ本当にクーデターが起きるかもしれない。
己の利益がなくなると分かっていて国王派につくはずがないというわけですね。
ああ、たくどいつもこいつも自分のことばかり考えやがって。
でもある。陛下はむしろこの現状を憂いて何とかしたいと考えているんです。技術がもたらす豊かさは全ての民に還元されるべき。それがクイード国王の考えですから。もちろん俺もそう思っているよ。発明は人のためにあるべきだから。
そっか。それを聞いて安心したわ。
I'm glad to hear they dislike the current state of affairs, and unlike the premier, the king is trying to change things.
じゃあロジーたちが信頼しているクイードの王様はいい人なのね。
まあ国民のことを第一に考えているのは間違いないと思うけどいい人かどうかと言われると。
Why would you say that about your cousin?
少なくともいい人って部類じゃねえな。国を治めるには有能だと思うが
Why not?
まあそれなりに腹黒くなきゃ国をまともにできねえってもんだ。少なくとも個人として交友を深めるのは進めねえな。
I see. A glance at Giorda reinforces the words. I'm sure royal families have to deal with a lot. It must be tough.
ってあれ？なんでシルバもそんなに国王様のことに詳しいの？
The way he talks about the king is so vivid, he must have experienced him up close. I asked curiously, but Silva frowns bitterly in response.
ああ、あの国王様はロジオンのいいとこだからな。しょっちゅうリンドグレーン家に来るんだよ。
ロジーって国王様と親戚なの？
ああ、うん。実はそうなんだ。それでまあシルバも結構陛下には気に入られててね。
Which is why he had to wear an eye patch.
気に入ってるだ。ありゃ人をおちょくってるだけだろ。
それは否定しないけれど。
Speaking of which, Silva did say he got stuck with the eye patch because the king made a joke or something.
なるほど。クイード国王の人となりが少しずつ見えてきました。では謁見は僕たちだけで済ませた方が良さそうですね。
それができりゃいいが、あいつのことだ。案外王城で待ってられなくて屋敷の方に先回りされてるかもしれないぞ。
Yeah, he just goes wherever he pleases.
笑えない冗談はやめてくれ。ただでさえカタリナを紹介するのは ちょっと覚悟がいるんだから。
He doesn't have to mentally prepare to introduce the Princess of Sorcier to him, but just Catarina. Why is that? I don't understand. She's not that important. Are they worried about me? I'm not even about to go climbing trees in front of a king. Well, maybe it's because Silva likes her. Maybe that's why he's afraid. It is true that I'm not the best at being ladylike, but I will be extra careful not to be rude during an audience with the king. Then again, things do happen. Hypothetically, if I were to seek an audience with the King of Sorcier, Mother would turn pale as a sheet. She would doubtlessly become multitudes more strict when drilling me on etiquette too. The king is a king after all. I try to brace myself for what is to come. My mind steeled, I clench my fist. She has no idea. When we arrive at Rosie's home, we're about to seek an audience with the king, so we stopped here first to prepare.
足元に気をつけろよ。手貸すか。
Silva dismounts the carriage first, then turns back to me.
それは僕の役目ですので結構です。
I didn't think so.
カタリナ。
I didn't think he'd let you.
ありがとうございます。
I get off the carriage to find a huge number of servants here to greet us. The door to the mansion opens, and someone that I can only assume is the Duke of Lindgren appears.
ロジオン、無事なようでよかった。
Aww. Duke smiles with relief. He then turns to us, his expression is firm.
ジオルド殿下、アラン殿下、ロジオンが港に着いた時によこした使いから経緯は聞いております。この度はご迷惑をおかけしてしまい誠に申し訳ございません。できればすぐに謝罪をしたいところなのですが、陛下がお待ちですので、そちらはまた改めてさせてください。
ええ。
では俺たちは支度を整え次第王城へ向かいます。
Oh, he's not in the mansion?
いや、ロジオン、実は陛下ならすでに人目を忍んでこの屋敷に来ているんだよ。
I don't know why you guys didn't think that he would do exactly what you thought he would do.
え？
はあ？
That's exactly what you said he would do.
クイード国王が。
Yeah, you guys said he would ditch the palace and come here. Even Jorda is surprised at the news. His eyes widen ever so slightly as he looks at the Duke. I don't blame him. No one could have expected the King of Quid to actually do it. Meeting with the king requires a number of procedures and steps. Even I know those customs.
嫌な予感が当たったというか、なんというか。
Nightmare.
はあ。
Poor Silva. I can't stand him. Silva heaves a sigh as in disbelief that the king would actually do this.
一室でロジオンたちを待っているからね。非公式ゆえに用意も簡単でいいとも仰せだ。急いで支度を整えておいで。
ええ、わかりました。皆さん、こちらです。
Rosie starts to guide us to the guest rooms. As we pass, the Duke pats Silva on the shoulder.
シルバもよく帰ってきたね。心配していたが、怪我もないようでよかったよ。
Aw, that's so sweet. He cares about his son's friend so much.
恐れ入ります。
Silva bows to Duke Lindgren while the Duke gazes softly back. It is not the sort of look one gives to a simple servant. It is the look normally reserved for one's family. Yeah, it's really sweet. Silva, for his part, is acting proper too. I cannot make sense of the relationship between Duke Lindgren and Silva. Noticing in my glance, the Duke smiles.
私がシルバーを心配するのが意外かね。
そういうわけでは。
言いたいことはわかるよ。でも心配するのは当然だと思う。私のもう一人の息子のようなものだからね。
He did tell you that he was practically raised by them. Did you forget about that?
シルバー、よく頑張ったな。 これからも引き続き頼むよ。
His father is so sweet.
はい。
Much better than Catarina's mother. Silva looks bashful, like he doesn't know how to respond. It is a stark contrast to his usual aloofness. Strangely, it leaves me quite an impression. That should do it for the preparations. After hurrying to get changed, I stopped to take a look in the mirror. Is this really going to be okay? Did you really get changed? You look the same. If I were seeking an audience with the King of Sorcier, the maids would be all over me, making sure every detail was perfect. But we are in a foreign nation, and this is not my home. I know full well that I can only handle the bare minimum alone. I checked the mirror again and again. Mother would have a heart attack if she knew this was happening. Then again, it all happened so suddenly. A little trouble is normal, right? And I washed up, so I shouldn't smell ocean-y.
カタリナ、準備はできたか？
今行くわ。
Oh, are you escorting her? Silva seems to have come to get me, so I open the door. He is wearing an outfit that I have never seen on him before. It's the outfit that I love the most.
って間抜けな顔してどうしたんだよ。
Are you finally going to recognize how handsome he is?
いや、なんかずいぶん雰囲気が違うなって思って。
I guess not. I'm so used to his pirate getup that it's startling to see him now. The cape and belt make him feel like a proper soldier.
おう。そりゃもう船も降りたし、ここであんな海賊じみた格好をする意味もないしな。変か？
いや、変じゃないけど、今までの格好に見慣れちゃってたから、慣れないというか。
I'm just thinking of it as cosplay again.
なるほどな。どっちかっつうとこれがいつも通りで、今までのが仮装になるけどな。
Oh, right. I thought he looked good in it, but it really was just pirate cosplay. I know he's said it numerous times, but this is the first time I have really seen Silva as a soldier. I'm speechless.
ほら、それよか他の奴らはもう準備できてるらしいから行くぞ。
You'll get used to it. Silva turns around and starts walking. Coming back to my senses, I chase after him so I don't get lost. After joining the others, we enter the salon together. The King of Quid is waiting there, sitting on a sofa. He looks a lot like Rosie. Oh right, they're cousins. He's also a lot younger than I thought. I look back and forth between Rosie and the king until Keith elbows me in the side.
姉さん、今はじっとしてて。
That's funny. He did that when she met him in the other room too. Now Keith is mad at me. But right now we are in front of the king. He seems more casual than I expected, so I accidentally let my guard down. I stand back in hopes of not sticking out. The king turns to Giordo and smiles.
ようこそ来られた。私がクイード国王、アルベルト・クイードだ。
The king greets us, and Giordo and the others take turns returning the greeting, but soon Albert interrupts them.
ああ、あくまで非公式な場だからね。形式的な向上はいらないし、そこまでかしこまらなくていい。それよりまずは謝らせてくれ。
Albert stands up, looking right at us. In a surprising move, he bows deeply.
クイード王国の問題にソルシエを巻き込んでしまってすまなかった。
He's a king, but he's so humble. Having a king bow his head is serious business. But as I stand shocked in place, he quickly looks up and smiles at Giordo.
もちろん、賠償面を含めた正式な謝罪は後日公的な場で出させてもらうから安心してほしい。
わかりました。では、謝罪の受け入れについては、こちらもその時にお返事させていただきますね。
He's like, we'll just reserve your apology for later then. Huh? What does Giordo look so irritated about? I know he's expecting to make Quid pay for their negligence in bringing them along. While wondering about that, I spot Albert squinting teasingly for a moment, but it vanishes in an instant, and he returns to his serious demeanor.
今回の問題に関して、ジオルド王子をはじめとしたソルシエ王国の方々の力を我が国に貸してもらうことはできないだろうか。
陛下、まずはソルシエの方々を国にお返しするために船を出したいと思いますが。
He's like, please help us. And Rose is like, you need to send them back.
ああ、もちろん私もそうすべきところだと分かってはいるが、一筋縄ではいかない事情があってね。
サングリード海賊団が最小派に組みして動いているからですか。
もちろんそれもある。だが、それ以上に我々が身動きを取れない理由が一つあるのだよ。今、オートでは行方不明者が多数出ている。年齢に関しては子供から大人まで幅広くだ。特に顔が整ったものばかりが狙われているようでね。それと妙なのは被害者が男に偏っているというところか。
男の被害者が多いのですか。
ああ、普通は力が弱く抵抗力のない弱い女や子供を狙いそうなものなのに奇妙だろう。それと行方不明者の周辺から聞き取った情報だと、被害者は皆青やそれに近い色の瞳をしていてね。偶然とするには被害者も多いし、犯人の性癖と見ている。
人さらいか。
Silva mumbles to himself. His expression is fiercer than I have ever seen. I might be imagining it, but he seems a bit pale too. I wonder what's the matter.
他にも一つ共通点がある。国王派である貴族たちの家を出入りしていた使用人や商人の被害者も少なくないんだ。だからこの行方不明者事件は最小派が起こしているのではと睨んでいてね。その上サングリード海賊団の残党がまだ海のどこかにいる状況だ。頭目は捕らえたが、その下の副船長はまだ残っている。下手にソルシエへ船を出して横から襲われるというのは避けたい。それにこの状況では我々が船を出したとしても最小派のネズミが潜り込むかもしれない。あの島の所在地を奴らに知られたくはないだろう。
Albert speaks somberly. I think I see Giordo's brow twitch. The air around Giordo seems kind of... I can sense a dark aura around him despite his cordial smile. It gives me shivers.
つまり問題解決に僕たちが力添えをしなければ、我が国民たちはあの島に置き去りにされるという意味ですか。
Yep.
もちろん私としては早急に解決するつもりだよ。あそこには我がクイードの民もいる。だが現状は身動きが取れないというのが実情だ。だから自国の問題に巻き込んで申し訳ないが、ソルシエの方々の力を借りられるというならばぜひお願いしたいのだよ。
むしろ今聞いたところ、それ以外に取れる道はないようですが。
こちらも後がなくてね。だが私としてはソルシエとは良い関係を築き上げたいと思っているよ。これから先の未来のためにね。
Albert concludes, and a silence sets in. Everyone naturally turns to look at Giordo.
わかりました。我がソルシエも正式に助力いたしましょう。発明大国と呼ばれるクイードとは確かにいい関係でいたいですからね。
He says this with a grain of salt. Look at his face. He does not like it one bit. The king then requests to speak with Rosie privately, so the rest of us leave the room. When I come to the hallway, I finally release my breath. I'm glad I didn't mess anything up. I managed not to trip over myself or do anything rude as I left the room. I can't hide my relief. I wonder what sort of person the King of Quid would be, but he seems nicer than I thought. At the very least, he seems much easier to talk to than the dignified King of Sorcier. As I think that, I hear Giorda let out an exhausted sigh next to me.
してやられましたね。まさかクイードの諸問題にここまでしっかり巻き込まれるとは。
だがソルシエに借りを作るのを避けられないぐらいには問題は根深いようだな。
そうですね。こうなったら後々我が国に対して頭が上がらないくらい徹底的に恩を売っておくしかありませんね。
Wow. Can I mean for sure that they can never think to defy us again? Giordo does his trademark black aura smile. A tingle runs down my spine whenever I sense him scheming something.
とはいえ油断ならない相手ですし、そううまくいくとも思えませんが。
そうですか？いい人そうに見えましたけど、きちんと謝ってくれましたし。
いや、結局は非公式な場での謝罪だからな。
公的な場でなければいくら頭を下げられても意味はありません。むしろあえて頭を下げることでこちらの心象の悪さを少しでも良くしようという意図しか感じませんでしたよ。
I see, so that's how it is. It must be something only royalty understand. But thinking about it, Silva also said that the king was the scheming type on the way here. I turned to look at Silva, but his face is still locked in a grim frown.
シルバー？
Oh, caught him off guard. When I call his name, he gasps back to his senses. His grim expression immediately returns to the usual nonchalant smile.
なんだ？
おや、なんだか様子が変だったから。大丈夫？
そう見えたか？人さらいなんていうちょっと胸くそ悪い話を聞いたからかもしんねえな。
確かにそんなことが起こっているなんてすごくびっくりしたけど。
ま、それだけのことだからあんま気にすんな。それよか船旅の後に謁見まで続いて疲れただろう。今日はひとまず客室で休んでてくれ。
Silva smiles after saying that. It's so obviously forced that it worries me. But before I can say anything, Silva goes to call a servant.
迷わないよう客人を客室に案内してくれ。
はい、かしこまりました。
シルバは。
じゃあな、ゆっくり休めよ。
He totally brushed her off, got away from her. Silva sees us off as we follow the servant. Along the way, I wonder about him again, but when I turn around, he's gone. Silva vanished like a cat. Something about that makes me feel restless.
Hito saraiか。嫌なもんを思い出すな。どうしていなくならねえんだろうな。
Oh no.
人さらいは。
Was he kidnapped as a child too? The next day, because Sorcier is now officially providing assistance to Quid, we have all been divided into separate assignments today. The Sangre powers patrolling the waters still have to be dealt with. The missing person's case needs to be solved as well. But why does it feel like I'm just sightseeing? I was asked to walk around the town with Silva and Keith. The kidnappers have been targeting androgynous men with near blue eye colors. Silva volunteered as a decoy. Oh my goodness. You think Silva's androgynous? Okay. I guess. He looks more manly than anything else. It's the long hair, isn't it? Plus he's in like a noble
という
attire.
ことで、行方不明者事件の方は俺が一人で調査する。自衛もできるし、何より条件的にもちょうどおとり役に適任みたいだしな。
After Rosie and Albert concluded their discussion, the entire group, including Albert, held a strategy meeting. But would you really capture someone that's walking around in that kind of noble attire? I mean, I guess, maybe, if they're actually targeting nobles.
それは助かるよ。でもそうだね。せっかくならまたおとり役に適した紛争をしてみないかい？
What kind of disguise do you want?
は？紛争？
Oh my goodness.
犯人が好むのは美形だって話だろ。だからそうだね。さらいやすそうな貴族の弱々しい青年姿とかいいと思うんだけど。
Why does he want him to be a sickly nobleman? Look at this. This is cute. He's just imagining what he's gonna look like. He looks like a duke's son in that one.
却下させていただきます。貴族って柄じゃないんで。
You're not a nobleman type, but look how you dress. That just screams noble anyway.
おや、ダメかい？ならそうだね。劇場の若手俳優みたいな服とか。
This is adorable. Look at his face. He's like, no.
時間もないんで、いつも通りの服装でお願いします。つうか、おちょくって楽しみたいだけじゃねえか。
This is amazing. I love this.
聞こえているよ、シルバ。
それは失礼しました。とにかく、服はこれで結構ですので。
They sure seem close. It is not too hard to imagine that the iPatch discussion went something like this, but with Silva taking the loss.
しかし、シルバ一人だと危険だね。相手は、どんな相手も悲鳴一つ上げさせずにさらうような人さらいなんだ。万が一ということもある。
なら僕も同行します。魔法で自衛はできますし、目の色を考えればおとりの役割も兼ねられますから。
But do you have any feminine qualities about you? I don't think you do. Silva at least has the long hair. Maybe the blonde hair. The blonde hair might do it.
私も手伝います。目の色だって青に近いといえば近いですし、地上なら一応魔力も使えますし。
But you're not a man. They don't want you.
え、姉さんが？
いや、お前の魔力じゃ戦力にならないような。しかもさらわれるのは男だって話だろ
う。だが確かにおとりを仕掛けるにもいかにもな取り合わせよりカタリナ嬢が混じっていた方が犯人も油断しそうだね。
What does Giorda say?
いや、俺としてはカタリナは家にいてくれた方が安心できるんだけど。
まあそういうなロジオン。逆に男ばかり狙われるというのならカタリナ嬢がさらわれ危険な目に遭う可能性も低いという考え方もできるじゃないか。
でもシルバたちに同行することで荒ごとに巻き込まれて怪我をする可能性だって。
そこはシルバを信用してもいいところじゃないかな。
そうですね。
Albert's words cause Rosie to realize something. He looks away. I don't get it, but I have to try to convince Rosie and the others.
ジオルド様とアラン様とロジーは王城に行って、他のみんなはサングリード海賊団の捕獲に向かうんでしょ？なら私も何かの役に立ちたいわ。
Nicole, Mary, Sophia, and Maria will be going out to sea to round up the remaining pirates. They plan to use their wind and water magics to give the ship an advantage. Maria will heal anyone injured. Giorno and Alan are royalty, so they will be relaying a message to Sorcier, as well as discussing the matters of compensation. I would feel terrible just lying around in the lingering house and mooching.
みんなも働いているし、私ももちろんできることを手伝うわ。早くあの島のみんなを助けなきゃ。
そうだね。今は一人でも多くの力が必要な時だ。頼めると私としてもありがたい。
まあキースがついていれば危ないことにはならないでしょうが。
Don't put faith in Silva's martial arts, put faith in Keith's earth magic. How rude.
はい。陸地なら負けません。姉さんのことは僕が必ず守ります。
確かにお前を屋敷に一人にしとくのも心配だな。
Babysitting.
キースがカタリナのおもりをするって言うならいいか。
Did you have to say that?
じゃあ決まりね。みんなで無事帰れるよ。頑張りましょう。
I guess it didn't bother her. We are here to solve the missing person incident, but my attention is drawn to all the shops stuffed full with delicious treats. Hey, that stand is selling something that looks like popcorn, and over there they're selling juice.
姉さん、観光に来たわけじゃないって分かってる？
分かってるわよ。安心してキース。ちゃんと忘れてないから。
そうは見えないんだけど。
While Keith quietly complains, I take in the townscape of Quid. The nation of inventions really lives up to its reputation. I can't help but look at these stores I never would have found in Sorcier. Observing from the carriage, it felt a bit gloomy, but walking around now, I realize it's actually bustling. If it wasn't for our current situation, I would definitely go sightseeing. But the situation in the capital is so unstable that Rosie's mother was evacuated to the Duke's countryside estate. Oh, really? Just to reaffirm my resolve, a delicious smell enters my nostrils.
なんかいい匂いが。
姉さん、また行儀の悪い仕草をして。
ああ、そこのパン屋の匂いだな。あそこのやつはスパイスが練り込まれてるやつが看板商品でなかなかうまい。食うか？
Silva will indulge her.
まあそうやって自然に楽しんでる方が犯人も気軽に狙いに来るだろう。
確かにそうかもしれませんね。
There you go, you got Keith on board.
やったー。あと他にもクイードの珍しい食べ物とかあったら食べたいんだけれど。
姉さん、これちゃんと仕事だって分かってる？
分かってる分かってる。でもせっかくなら楽しまなきゃ損じゃない。
カタリナらしいな。
The three of us buy some bread and wander around town. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a long episode. We haven't done the first choice at all, and there's a memory scenario which usually takes half an hour just by itself. The three of us buy some bread and wander around town. Okay, I should have enough time. We circle around and arrive at a back alley. You never go down the back alley. If you want to avoid danger, you don't go down there. Surely you know this by now, right?
妙な気配がするな。
It's because you're down a back alley. Oh my goodness. This is where people get ganked most of the time. Upon entering the back alley, Silva whispers quietly.
視線を感じる。釣れたかもしんねえな。
Get out of the alley.
お前は喉を詰まらせないようそのパンを飲み込んどいてくれ。
Just focus on eating.
はい。
それで妙な気配というのは？
狙いが当たってりゃ犯人だ。だが気配だけだ。どこから来るかわからね
え、 じゃあどうするの？
おびき寄せるのが一番だろうな。ってことで、
Uh-oh.
ここからは二手に分かれるぞ。俺が餌になるから二人はまあさっきの大通りに戻っててくれ。
でも
さすがにこのままソルシエの貴族様を餌にして犯人に襲わせるような真似はできねえし、そもそも俺はおとりに適任だって話したろ。ここでたまたま一人になったように見えた方がチャンスだと向こうが食らいつく可能性が高い。だからそこをうまいこと使って犯人を捕らえてやるよ。
That's what you say, but he's probably going to capture you.
でも
No, she's worried. Yeah, I'm worried. That's exactly the one you picked too.
シルバが心配だわ。シルバが強いのは分かってるけど、もしも負けたら。
なんだ心配性だな。
That's what she said to Rosie.
だって相手は行方不明者事件の犯人かもしれないんでしょ？
Cowboy Guard have been unable to catch these despite there being so many disappearances. There is a real risk here. But Silva only grins in response.
俺を誰だと思ってるんだ？白暗の悪魔が捕まるわけないだろ。
Until they spray like atomizer in your face and make you pass out. Oh. Silva pats me on the head like he always does. He then waves to me, looking confident. And he's like, what are you doing?
そこの道を行けば大通りに戻れる。とりあえずその先で待っててくれ。こっちが片付いたら合流するからな。
ええ、わかりました。
シルバー、気をつけてね。
I'm still worried, but Keith and I began heading back towards the main street. Then, in the next instant... Would you step in a trap? What appeared to be a wall of the house opens up and Keith vanishes without a trace. Whoa.
Keith!
So they were going after him?
狙いはそっちかよ。
Pretty boy Keith. He's gonna get captured. Well, I guess, yeah. Pretty boy Keith from the Fortune Lover. Yeah. Silva, still a distance away, leaps into the air. A moment later, he lands in front of me.
キースは
それが、そこの壁が急に開いたと思ったら、急にいなくなっちゃって。
Why are you never go in an alley?
隠し扉か。
Silva places his hands against the wall, trying to feel out a way to open it, but the wall does not budge.
こっちからは開かねえみてえだな。
そんな！じゃあ、ケースは？
落ち着け。出口がある以上、必ずどっかに入り口はあるはずだ。でも厄介だな。パッと見どこにも扉はねえし。
Keith. He was right next to me, yet he was still kidnapped. I feel so pitiful for being unable to do anything, but I focus on helping Silva check the wall. After investigating for a while, Silva stops at one spot.
とっかかりがある。ここだな。カタリナ、下がっていろ。
Silva signals me to stay back. He then pushes down on the knob in the wall, and I hear a sound like rocks scraping and shifting. A part of the wall opens up. Inside is a dark, creepy space. Silva remains alert, glaring into the building from the hole.
人の気配はそんなにねえな。おそらくいるのはキースをさらったやつだけだ。とにかく別の出口があるかもしれねえからな。逃げられる前に急いでキースを探しに行くぞ。
She's gonna go with you.
お前は
もちろん行くわ。
I knew it.
確かにここに置いていく方が危ねえか。
Surprisingly, he said yes.
だが絶対俺の前に出るんじゃねえぞ。行くぞ。
Let's go. Oh, a nice place inside there. Silva and I enter the house, guards raised. It is dusty inside, and I don't detect any human presence. The place is silent.
1階には誰もいねえな。いるとしたら2階か。キースが消えた入り口はこっちの方だが。ここに引きずった跡があるな。
キースが。
可能性が高い。引きずられてるってことは気絶させられてるのか。
そんな、あの一瞬で気絶させられて連れ込まれるなんて。
Optimizer.
相当手慣れてるな。十中八九この行方不明者事件の犯人だろう。行くぞ。
When we reach the second floor, I hear a rustling coming from a room nearby.
ここだな。お前はここで待ってろ。
Silva draws the sword at his hip. He then slams the door open. With the door open, I can see a hooded man about to open a window and Keith lying on the floor. The man gasps and turns around. Silva immediately swings his sword. Silva's sword grazes the man's arm, causing him to flinch, and in that moment, Silva rushes in to put him in a chokehold. The man tries to pull Silva off, but he soon loses consciousness.
気絶したな。
I run up to Keith on the floor and shake him. He groans in his sleep.
呼吸は安定してるな。それにこの匂い。多分よく使われる気絶薬だ。安心しろ。
Yeah.
ただ気を失ってるだけのはずだ。
The Premier's drugs. Silva puts the unconscious man on the floor and begins to check the room. Picking something up from the desk, he gasps.
これは。
どうしたの？
いや、確認するのは後だ。
He puts a piece of paper into his pocket and then returns to me.
とにかく急いで帰ってケースをロジオンに見せるぞ。この男も連れて行かねえと。
When Silva rolls the unconscious man onto his bag, the man's garment flips up. Oh, he's got a tattoo. When he sees the man's skin, Silva's expression changes. I wonder if it's like a gang that he used to be in.
これ。
His eyes are purple. His eyes turned purple just from looking at that. Huh? Following Silva's gaze, I see that the man's skin has what appears to be a bruise. Not a bruise. What is this? It's a tattoo. I approach curiously, but Silva staggers back with unstable footsteps until he is pressed against the wall. He slams his fist against it.
くそ！そういうことかよ。
Definitely knows what's going on.
シルバ！
この事件の裏にはてめえがいるのか。リガードウェル。
Rigardwell? Silva's expression is filled with rage and disgust. He hits the wall again and again, and I run to him.
シルバ！大丈夫？
I'd be afraid right now, like approaching him when he's furious like this. I put my hand on his shoulder as Silva's face jerks up to meet mine. In his eyes are a whirlwind of emotions I've never seen in him before.
Catarina.
Aww. He calmed down when he looked at you. Slowly, his wild eyes begin to calm. Silva shakes his head, his smile strained.
取り乱して悪い。大丈夫だ。
Silva steps away from the wall and begins to canvas the room, sharp eyes scanning every nook and cranny. Maybe it's just the room's dim lighting, but I think he looks a bit pale. That worries me.
いや、全然大丈夫には見えないんだけど。それより、リガードウェルって。
I'm sure he'll tell you at the mansion.
その話は後でする。 とにかく今は早く戻らねえと。キースも心配だしな。
Saying that, he grabs and puts the unconscious man and Keith on each of his shoulders and starts walking. He is so strong that he can carry adult men with ease. But I wonder what's gotten into him. His usual bravado completely disappeared when he saw that bruise. Despite my curiosity, I have a feeling he wouldn't answer even if I were to ask. I quietly follow after Silva. When we return to the Lindgren estate, we have Rosie take a look at Keith. When Keith awakens, we fill him in on what happened.
まさかいきなり行方不明者事件の犯人を捕まえられるとはね。キース様も無事でよかったよ。
ごめん、姉さんを守るって言ったのに僕の方がさらわれたりして。姉さんは何ともない？
ええ、平気よ。それよりキース、本当に体に異常はないのよね？
なんともないよ。
そうだね。あの薬は危険なものじゃなかったし、副作用はないはずだよ。
そうか。ならよかった。
だが人さらいも捕まえられたし、これで解決だな。
What makes you think there's only one?
いや、解決なんかじゃない。むしろ余計に厄介なことになった。
厄介なことですか？
ああ、この行方不明者事件の裏にいるやつが誰なのか分かった。リガードウェルだ。
リガードウェル？
あの男の体についていた夜勤はリガードウェルの子飼いの連中が刻まれるものだ。
I bet Silva has one too. A brand? That's what it was? Maybe she really did think it was a bruise. Oh my goodness. I knew it looked like some sort of bruise, but I never thought it could be a brand. Surprised, I turned towards Silva, but he is staring at his feet, fists clenched tight.
この裏にはリガードウェルがついている。今はまだ実行犯の一人を捕まえたに過ぎねえ。
In the back of my mind, I'm like, there's this one person we haven't met before, because he's on the voice character listing in the options to like change the volume, and I'm like, oh right, there's still that guy.
でも彼は8年前国外に逃亡してからずっと行方をくらませていたはずじゃ。国境には厳しい監視の目もあるし、簡単に国内に潜り込めるとは思えないけれど。
おそらく宰相が引き入れた。あの屋敷にはこんなもんが置いてあったからな。
After saying that, Silva takes an envelope with a flower wax seal from his pocket. This must be what Silva pocketed back at that room.
これは宰相派のやつらが秘密裏にやり取りするときに使う風浪だ。俺らがビンクルム号の計画を突き止めた時もこの風浪の手紙を使っていた。リガードウェルの子飼いの夜勤をつけられたあの男が宰相派の駒なのは間違いない。
でもそんな宰相とリガードウェルが手を組んでるだなんて最悪じゃないか。
話が見えないのですが、リガードウェルというのは一体誰なんですか？
And not along with Giordo's question, Rosie and Silva glance at each other before reluctantly responding.
ディルク・リガードウェルというのはかつてクイードにいた伯爵で、罪を犯して身分領地ともに剥奪となった人物です。8年前重罪を犯しクイードの警備隊に検挙されたのですが、逃亡し行方不明になっていて。
身分剥奪になるほどの犯罪ですか？一体何をしたんですか？
人身売買と誘拐、非人道的実験、そして薬物の違法取り扱いです。
A heavy response leaves me speechless. Rosie's tone is leaden as he continues.
検挙された当時の彼の屋敷からは大規模な人体実験施設が発見されました。洗脳や投薬を受けた多種多様な人種の人々が100名近くも保護されて、当時クイードは騒然となったものです。
多種多様な人種の人々というのはまさか。
ああ、ビンクルム号の拉致事件と今回の行方不明者事件はつながっている。まだ最小の計画は終わってないってことだ。
最初は我々ソルシエ人たちをさらい、そのリガードウェルとやらに人体実験を施させてクーデターの戦力にするつもりだったというわけか。
おそらくリガードウェルは投薬による洗脳も得意としていますから。
Human experiments and brainwashing. In other words, if Silva and the Waste Pirates didn't attack the Vinculum and foil the Premier's plans, we magic users might have been enduring it at this very moment.
キース様を迷わず狙ったということは、きっと魔力持ちだと分かっていたんでしょう。すでにこの屋敷を見張られている可能性があります。
なるほど。これが国王の話していたネズミの正体ですか。思った以上に厄介そうです。確かに船を出すわけにはいきませんね。
だが裏にリガードウェルとやらがついていたとしても、今回と同じように実行犯を捕まえていけばいいんじゃないか。
そううまくいけばいいですが、今回捕らえた人物は強化されていませんでした。もし強化された人間が出てきたら。
強化って？
リガードウェルは人体実験を繰り返し、本人の潜在能力を無理やりに引き出すんだ。そうして本来持つ以上の力を出せるようになった人たちを関係者たちの間ではリモデルと呼んでいるんだけど、彼らはリガードウェルに従順で、その上桁違いの戦闘力を持っているんだ。だからもし彼らが出てきたら。
Suddenly, Silva rises to his feet. Rosie stops mid-word and looks up. And I bet Silva was one of those kidnapped children, reinforced with human natural strength, which is why he's so fast and so strong. And maybe even why his eyes glow.
シルバ
ー、胸くそ悪い気分になるから俺は少し外の空気を吸ってくる。
Yeah, he's definitely taking this personally. Silva turns away as soon as he says that and swiftly leaves the room. Silva has been looking pale for a while. I'm gonna go after him.
Silva!
I'm worried, so I go after him. He is walking briskly, so I pull on his sleeve.
大丈夫？顔色が悪いけれど。
なんでついてきた？
Oh, he is in a really bad mood.
いや、様子がおかしいから気になって。
お前には関係ない。お前に話すことなんてねえよ。とにかく放っておいてくれ。
I thought this would happen to him. His cold voice surprises me. Silva then walks away. I stand there feeling lost. Silva rejected me with all of his being. He has nothing to say. It's true that I haven't known Silva for very long, and I don't know anything about his past, but I thought we could get along. Being told that I am an outsider that has nothing to do with him hurts more than I expected. But that face he was making, I couldn't. Silva is already so far away. I cannot bring myself to follow him, so I remain where I am. After a moment, I hear footsteps approaching from behind.
カタリナ
Aw.
ロジ
なかなか戻ってこないから追いかけてきたんだけど、シルバと何かあった？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだけど。特に何もないわ。全然大丈夫よ。
Yes, I'm sure it was nothing. Maybe he was hungry, or maybe his stomach hurt. Silva must be dealing with his own issues. When tomorrow comes, I have no doubt he will chat casually like he always does. But for some reason, my chest stings. Aww. Are you noticing her attraction? Her closeness to him? The next night... Oh, it's not even day, it's night. Aww. Poor Silva. He's got nightmares. I bolt awake from a nightmare, just barely managing to suppress my scream.
くそ、ようやく見なくなったと思ったのに。
Yeah, I thought he was going to have some kind of tragic backstory. Placing a hand on my forehead, I can feel a glaze of cold sweat. When I first came to the Lindgren estate, I had these nightmares every night. Now the fading memories have returned in force. I am in no condition to sleep, so I sit up and get dressed. Rigard Wells pawns could be out there right now kidnapping others in the night. Not even the Quidian Capital Guard can be trusted right now. Some of them are under the Premier's thumb. Every person has a price. They know money means everything in this nation. I can't blame them for that. But if the Premier has brought Rigard Well into this mix, things will be bad. His involvement is not something normal people can handle. Even I am uncertain how to resolve these kidnappings. In the end, all you can do is try to defend yourself. Nothing in this world has changed.
くそ、そんな世界が嫌だから、今ここにいるんじゃねえか。
I have no interest in the Lindgren's devotion to the king, but I know well what it feels like to be trampled on. I want to strike back against the cruel monsters like the Premier. I wanted to declare that a world which was built upon the backs of weak and the marginalized was wrong.
最初は捕らえたが、あいつのおかげで甘い汁を据えてる貴族は多いからな。
They are likely preparing the coup in order to serve their own wants. For that, they need an overwhelming military, and so they turn to Rigard Well.
一人残らず、俺が捕らえてやる。
Yeah, you show them. If the Capital Guard cannot be trusted, then I will find every last one of Rigard Well's servants myself. By solving this incident as quickly as possible, I will finally end this nightmare. But for some reason, the image of Catarina's smile comes to my mind. Her innocent, defenseless smile when she entrusts herself to me floats in and out of my vision.
早くあいつらをソルシエに戻してやらねえとな。
To be honest, we never intended to get them involved in Quid's problems, but our king decided to owe them a favor. The current Quid was so severely deteriorated that our king thought a debt to Sorcière was unavoidable. The great magical nation of Sorcière, if we can make use of their help, it will greatly increase our chances against the Premier.
だが、カタリナにだけは、この国の実態も、リガードウェルの所業も、これ以上深くは知られたくねえな。
In other words, you don't want her to find out about you either. Her smile is as bright as the sun. I will not let it cloud. I can never tell her about Rigard Well. I refuse to.
とにかく、早く解決しねえと。
I know you want to protect her from all of this, but it just drags out the ending even longer. All I can do is the legwork. There is still so much time until daybreak. I slip out of the mansion alone and head into town. She's going to be following him. Oh, never mind. Well, fine. Don't follow him. The next day. I am wandering around the garden looking for Silva. He didn't show up for breakfast or lunch, so I got worried about him. That was when I spotted him in the garden. And so I came after him, but I lost him. Silva is nowhere to be found. Maybe it would be faster to climb a tree to see if I can spot him from above. I look around and find a tree a little ways away that's perfect for climbing. I checked to be sure no one was watching, and I approached the tree. Getting closer, I noticed legs between the hedges. What? Is that Silva? Silva is lying flat in the grass like a sunbathing cat. He seems like he's fast asleep. That's really cute. I've referred to him as a cat 3 times now in this game. I guess I shouldn't wake him up. I consider waiting around the area for him to wake up, but suddenly he starts to groan, as though in pain. Are you gonna wake him up now? She used to wake up Keith when he had nightmares.
Silva?
His brow is deeply furrowed. He certainly does not seem to be resting well. Silva grasps at his shirt as his body contorts in his sleep.
Silva! しっかりして！大丈夫？
Seeing him in pain, I begin to shake him. Silva gasps and jumps awake. His face is completely pale, his breathing rapid. He looks up slowly, appearing dazed at the sight of me.
Catarina.
大丈夫？かなりうなされていたけれど。
別に大丈夫だ。ちょいと嫌な夢を見ただけで。悪いが、俺はまた調査に出かけてくる。人さらいどもを捕まえないといけないからな。
He pulls a smile and gets to his feet. Silva awkwardly pats the grass off his clothes. He turns his back to me before walking off. He's gone. Oh, I should have just grabbed him. His body language tells me to not talk to him. He doesn't want me involved. I feel the pinching pain in my heart again. If it's an investigation, I could help.
Catarina.
Turning to the voice behind me, I find Rosie.
ロジ。
話があるんだ。ちょっとおいでよ。
くそ。
I walk through the hallway alone, still gritting my teeth as I think of the dream I just had. I was only going to rest a little in the grass, but because I didn't sleep much last night, I must have fallen asleep. Thanks to that, I had that nightmare, but I didn't expect Catarina to see me in such a state because of it.
カタリナにだけは知られたくねえのに。
Aw, anyone but her. I think he's in love with her already. She looked so worried when she noticed how strangely I was acting. Whenever she gets worried about me, I always end up restless. My carefully shielded heart somehow becomes completely exposed in front of her. I have to keep my distance. I will not let her know. Just talking about everything that happened will bring forth a surging torrent of emotions. And that storm may cloud her smile. And yet something inside me longs to tell her everything. Perhaps she could accept me even after hearing everything. Maybe she could tell me the warm words I want to hear. Oh, it's so heartbreaking. I bet he did a lot of cruel stuff as a slave to that dude, and he's afraid that she won't like him because of it. And it's not true. She'll like you no matter what. The fear of being discovered tangles tightly with the desires to be saved. Never have I been such a mess. I scratched my head as I walked to the door. A servant called out to me, so I stop.
シルバ様、ロジオン様がお呼びです。
ロジオンが
It breaks my heart. Rosie takes me to a detached building separate from the mansion. Inside, I find a huge number of books scattered in every imaginable way.
ここは
ごめん、散らかってて。俺が普段工房として使ってる書斎なんだ。適当に座ってくれる？
You gotta bring in Silva too. Urged by Rosie, I sit down on a nearby chair. The sketchbook on the table in front of me catches my eye. This is... The sketchbook looks rather old. When I pick it up, Rosie smiles.
ああ、それか。後でシルバに渡してくれるかな？
ん？ええ、わかったわ。と言っても、シルバと話せるかわからないけれど。
He ran away from me earlier. Thinking about it makes me feel down. Rosie sits down on a nearby chair. He looks mature with his slight smile.
シルバは多分怖いんだと思うよ。
怖い？
自分の過去を聞かせたらカタリナとの関係が変わってしまうとでも思っているのかもしれないね。
Oh, well, at least someone brings it to her attention so she could just confront him outright.
関係が変わってしまう？
I tilt my head to the side questioningly.
それって私がシルバを嫌ったりするかもっていうこと？
いや、厳密には違うけど、まあ似たような感じかな。
そんな、どんな話を聞いても私は嫌いになったりしないのに。
It is far more shocking that he is avoiding me.
そうだね。きっとカタリナはシルバの過去を知っても大丈夫。受け止めてくれる人だって俺もそう思ってる。だから話すよ。シルバの様子がおかしい理由をさ。
That's not for you to say though. He's gonna be so mad at you if you tell her. No. Rosie sighs, clasping his hands together and looking up at the ceiling. This is never a good thing. When someone reveals something that you don't want them to know, it's gonna break him. He's probably gonna run away and like be gone for an entire chapter.
この行方不明者事件の犯人はリガードウェル元伯爵だって言ってただろ。そのリガードウェル元伯爵はさ、シルバを6年近くも手元に置いて飼ってたんだ。
飼ってた？
うん。シルバはリガードウェル元伯爵に強化の一環、訓練と称して薬を打たれたりひどい折檻を受けていたんだよ。
急に呼び出したかと思えば余計なことを。
シルバ！
I thought I heard something. It was Silva bursting into the room. I start to panic. Maybe I shouldn't have been listening to this. Rosie grins mischievously, patting Silva on the shoulder.
俺はね、お前のらしくない顔も見たくないし、それ以上にカタリナに元気のない顔をしていてほしくないんだ。わかるだろう。
Maybe he's not gonna have the reaction I'm thinking he would.
お前な。
He doesn't seem to be too bothered.
じゃあ俺はもう行くから。カタリナ、詳しいことはシルバが話してくれるよ。
Okay. It's a little bit under dramatic than I thought it was going to be, but whatever. I guess that's good. I don't want him to get so mad that he just leaves. Also, I was worried that be distant from Rosie too and not trust him anymore. Rosie says that as he closes the door. Now only Silva and I remain. An awkward air descends.
ごめんなさいシルバ。勝手に話を聞いたりして。
I'm guessing the memory scenario is coming up and it's going to be like his past that he tells her.
いや、お前は悪くねえよ。 あいつが勝手にやったことだろう。それに起きたことは変わらねえんだ。あとは言うか言わないかだけだろ。
でもロジーはシルバは私に聞かせたくないかもって言ってたし。
そこまで分かってて言うのがあいつだよな。
Well, he told you anyway. Silva sighs and looks out into the distance.
でも別に話したくないわけじゃない。聞いても気分が悪くなる話だから、お前に聞かせたくなかっただけだ。
Yeah, he wants to tell you everything. He wants to hear your words of acceptance.
それでも聞きたいか。
I can almost see the hesitation in his eyes. Rather than not wanting to, it seems like he is unaware whether or not it would be okay to talk about it. But I do want to know. I don't want the distance between us to grow by pretending I heard nothing. If I remain ignorant, he will remain distant. No matter how shocking the facts, I would rather hear them than that. So I nod.
知りたいわ。シルバのことだもの。
I muster my determination and look up at Silva. He sighs once more before sitting at the desk. Here we go.
Where
No, it's not a memory scenario. Hey, this is like the fourth CG in this one chapter. Silva squints as if he's looking at something far away. He's quiet for a moment, searching for the right words. He begins to speak slowly. I'm going to have trouble figuring out what CG I want to use for this chapter now.
前に俺はあいつとこのリンドグレーン家に拾われたって話しただろ。俺はもともとこの国の生まれじゃないんだ。
I don't think you told us that you weren't born in this nation.
遠い北の方の国の生まれでさ。一年中雪が降ってるような、ろくに日も差し込まないような辺境の土地だった。でも悪い場所じゃなかった。家族がいて、仲間がいて。この目がありゃ、夜でも狩りができる。生きていくのは大変な土地だったが、それなりにうまくやってたんだ。
He speaks with a gentle, nostalgic tone, but as he continues to speak of his people, his expression suddenly darkens.
でも、ある日そんな集落に、一人の男が迷い込んだんだ。激しい雪に遭難して死にかけていた男を、俺らは集落に受け入れて解放した。そいつが、人飼いだとは知らずにさ。
Slave trader.
男は人身売買で食ってる人間だった。それでその男は集落で過ごすうちに、俺らが読めの利く特殊な人間だって気づいてさ。元気になって俺らの集落から去った後、そいつは俺らを狩りに戻ってきたんだ。
シルバー、逃げなさい！
シルバー、お前一人なら逃げ切れる。行け！
やだ、父さん、母さん、
シルバー、我ら一族の血を絶やすな。
Slim, his sister.
ある日俺らの集落は武装したそいつの仲間に襲われた。森に火を放たれ、逃げ場すら奪われた。父さんや母さんは自分がおとりになって俺を逃がしたけれど、俺がいないことに気づいたその商人は執拗に追いかけてきて、結局捕まっちまった。父さんたちが身を挺してくれたのに、結局逃げられなかったんだ。
そんな。
恩をあだで返されるってこういうことだよな。だってそいつを助けなきゃ俺らの一族は 人飼い連中に目をつけられることもなかったんだ。俺の家族も友人もみんな全員捕まった。俺はまだ子供でろくな抵抗すらできなかった。
でも国際的に人身売買は禁じられているんじゃ。
表向きにはな。でも現実問題として裏ではまだはびこってる。人身売買を完全に封じ込めていられる国はそれこそソルシエくらいじゃないか。
そんな。
嫁が利く珍しい目。たったそれだけの価値で俺らの集落は襲われたんだ。俺らはこの目を狩りに使うだけだったけど、闇の社会じゃ5万と使い道があるってな。それに過酷な土地で生きてきた一族だからか、俺らはよその人間よか頑丈で敏捷性に優れてる体を持ってたらしいぜ。
Speaking of which, I recall seeing Silva's great eyesight. When he fights, he has cat-like reflexes. But that's why they were attacked.
俺は両親やリーンとまだ生まれたばかりだった妹と引き離されて、気づいたら檻に入れられて商品として並べられていた。
Oh, his baby sister. That's so sad.
集落は燃やされ、一族はバラバラになって、俺はこの国に連れてこられて、気がつけばリガードウェルの持ち物って立場になってた。
I know this is the part that she would be disgusted with. Is probably what you did afterwards.
その後は他の子飼いの連中と同じだ。俺の本来持ってる能力を引き出すとかなんとか言って薬を打たれたり検証実験なんて言ってあれこれ無茶をやらされたり、おかげで今やこんな体ってわけだ。
Silva smiles bitterly as he places a hand over his chest. Now you've met Catarina too. It reminds me of the time I saw him changing on the vinculum. Oh, I forgot about all those scars. Oh my goodness, that's so evil. Speaking of which, I'm sure I saw his scars. Rosie mentioned the training and torture. He has endured a lot. He was separated from his family and sold off. Having his whole world turned upside down must have been anxiety-inducing. But the Silva in front of me looks strangely calm.
あいつのところでの毎日は地獄みたいだったが、そうやって鍛えられてたおかげで13の時にまんまと出し抜いて逃げてやった。だからカタリナもそんな顔するな。もう終わったことだ。
Don't make that face. Right. He's with the Lindgren family now, and he's good friends with Rosie. I remember the way they argue like real brothers, and I feel a bit better.
それでその後、どうやってロジーに会ったの？
俺がリガードウェルの研究施設から逃げ出した後、初めて会ったのがロジオンだったんだ。でも最初の印象は最悪だったぜ。
Oh.
え？そうなの？
ま、俺はリガードウェルの施設から逃げ出したばっかで、見るからに訳ありな姿だったからな。で、ロジオンはいいところの坊ちゃんだろ。そりゃ警戒して当然だ。
はあ。
そんな俺がどうしてロジオンと出会ったかって話だが、ちょうど俺が逃げてた時、ゴロつきに絡まれてるあいつが見えたんだ。正直無視してやろうかとも思ったけどさ、他のやつまで汚え大人に踏みにじられてるってのが無性にムカついて、つい助けちまったんだ。でも 逃げてきたばっかの俺も体力が限界でさ、ロジオンの前で力尽きて倒れちまった。そんな俺にロジオンは大丈夫かって手を差し伸べてきたんだ。けど俺は最初その手を拒絶した。
なんで？
仮にも伯爵だって人間に捕まってたわけだからな。貴族様には不信感しかなかったってわけだ。貴族ってだけで俺も腹が立ってさ、誰が屈服するもんかって思ってた。しかもその後やってきたあいつの護衛もロジオンのことを止めてたから、貴族なんてやっぱろくなもんじゃねえなって思ったよ。どうせこいつもこれで見て見ぬふりするだろうって思ってた。それなのに
私はこの子に助けられたんだ。その恩人が困っているのなら、私が助けるのは人として当然のことだろう。
Those boys do not look like they're 13.
それを止めようとするなら、それは私に自分の意志を捨てろと、人形になれと言ってるも同じだ。
And Rose is supposed to be 15.
そう言ってロジオンは一度拒絶された上、護衛にも止められたってのに、もう一度俺に手を差し伸べたんだ。哀れみじゃなく本気でさ。だからこいつなら信じてもいいかもって思えて手を取ったんだ。
そっか、そうだったんだ。よかった、シルバがロジーの手を取ってくれて。
本当にな。あの時ロジオンに拾われなきゃ俺はろくでもない生き方してたと思う。それこそ大嫌いなお貴族様らに反逆したくて本物の海賊にでもなってたかもしれねえな。皮肉なことにこの目も活かせるしな。ま、だからあれだな。多分お前は何も分かってねえだろうが、一応お前にも礼は言っとく。
Why does he say that with a blush?
なんで私に？
Your smile?
だからお前は分からねえだろうけどってちゃんと前置きしただろう。
Oh, come on, just tell her.
はあ。
Oh, come on. I have no clue why he would thank me, so I have no idea how to react. I stare at him blankly, but he just gives me a toothy grin in response.
まあおとなしく受け取っとけよ。
えー
What kind of response is that? I continue to roll a blank. Silva squints as he smiles. He pats me on the head. In contrast to his usual roughness, his hand is soft and careful, as though he's handling something precious. Or at least you didn't say a child. Oh my goodness. His gaze is far away, lost in another time. Suddenly, words appear in my throat.
もしかして私、シルバの妹さんに似てるの？
Please say no.
は？お前がリーンに？
やったってほら、子供扱いして頭撫でてくるし、船にいた時は妹分みたいなもんだって言ってたから。
She's hoping you say no too, because she's blushing too.
別にこれは子供扱いしてやってるわけじゃなかったんだが。確かにリーンは今頃こんぐらいの年になってるとは思うが、別にお前と重ねてみちゃいないな。
That's good.
本当？
だいたいリーンと別れたのは赤ん坊の頃だぜ。似てるかどうかわかんねえよ。それに妹分なんてとっくに飛び越えたもんになってるよ。
He's finally admitted something. Yay, we're not a little sister anymore.
何？
Of course, she didn't hear it. His voice was so faint, I can't quite make out what he said. Of course
な
not.
んだ気になるのか
Yes, yes, we are. Say it again.
そりゃもう。
I tried to ask him again, but Silva just reaches out a hand to me and
頭撫でるのはなんでかお前に微妙な顔をさせちまうようだしやり方を変えることにするわ
where did he just kiss her? Did he bite her ear? Oh my goodness. He places a hand on my cheek. The next instant, I can feel his breath on the side of my head. Something brushes my ear. Hmm?
今の。
I know. She's so confused. You should just kiss her. You're always so divided when I pass you on the head, so let's see how you react to biting your ear. Like, what the heck?
親愛を伝える俺の故郷の習慣耳にキスしたんだよ
Is that really a custom in your tribe? That's such a weird custom. Oh my goodness. I know he didn't bite her on the ears. He said he kissed her ear, but still. His mouth is over her ear. He's biting her. And nibbling her. That was a kiss? I thought it felt kind of soft, but I didn't think it was his lips. What did you think it was? If you could feel the breath on the side of your head, what else would it be? Now that he mentions it, it did kind of sound like that. When I realized that, I can feel my cheeks get hotter. I knew some countries in my past life had customs like that, but I never experienced it myself, as Sorcerer does not.
変わった習慣があるのね。
まあなつっても故郷の仲間は生きてるかわからねえしもうこの習慣を知ってるやつも俺ぐらいしかいねえんだろうけどな
Pass it down to your descendants.
集落も燃やされたしどこにあるかもわからねえしな
やっぱり故郷に帰りたい？
どうだろうな
帰りたくないの？
いろいろあったせいであんま集落の景色も覚えてねえしなそれに国もどこだかもうわからねえし今さら帰ってもピンとこねえかもしんねえなでもいつまでもリンドグレーン家の世話になってるわけにもいかねえしこの問題に肩がついたら探しに旅に出るのも悪くねえかもな
Oh, really? So what? That makes like 5 CGs in this chapter now. What the heck?
旅に？
Maybe I should. Well, you know what? Maybe I should save the ear biting CG for everyone to be as surprised as I am. Anyway.
さすがに血縁でもなんでもない俺がいつまでもずうずうしく世話になるわけにはいかねえだろう
What do you mean? They've accepted you as family. You're not mooching off of them. You're part of their family. You're their like guards too. You're being employed by them. If you're not getting paid, you're getting paid in like room and board.
それに旅をしたいって思うんだリンドグレーン家で学ばせてもらったおかげで自分の記憶の中にある風習から故郷があるんじゃないかって場所のあたりはいくつかつけられてるしな
Gonna make her sad at the thought of you leaving.
そっか。
When Silva speaks about travel, I can see a boyish sparkle in his eyes. It even makes me a little excited.
旅か。実は私もいつかしてみたいのよね。
Take her with you.
はあお前が
私今回初めて国を出たのだけれど、やっぱり文化が違って面白いんだもの。他の国も見てみたいなーって。
In my previous life, I stayed in Japan my entire life. If possible, I want to go see as many cultures as I can this time.
今の話聞いて出てくるのがその感想ってほんと変わったお嬢様だな。あんまそんな目してっとそのまま連れて行きたくなるだろうか。
Oh my goodness. He is having a hard time controlling his emotions. He's feeling very passionate about her today. Silva smiles, eyes squint. His hand touches my cheek again. His fingertips caress my ear. He looks like he's being blinded by light. An expression I've never seen him before. It makes me happy, but also sad.
でもま、今はまだ旅に出るわけにはいかねえよ。ロジオンへの恩も返しきれてねえし。リガードウェルがまた動き始めたからな。
She didn't even flinch during any of that. Silva's expression becomes firm again, and he turns to the window.
せっかく俺が8年前証言してリガードウェルの悪行を止められたんだ。またあいつの好きにさせるわけにはいかねえ。
あ、そっか。シルバが証言したから8年前リガードウェル元伯爵は捕まったのね。
ああ、でもリンドグレーンの後ろ盾がなきゃ孤児である俺の証言なんか誰も聞いちゃくれなかったと思うぜ。腐っても伯爵だしな。特権階級だけが甘い汁を吸って国民を踏みにじっている。そういう国なんだよ、クイードはさ。それでそういう国にした最小派のやつらがまだのさばってやがる。その上リガードウェルが戻ってきやがった。最小の後ろ盾があるっていう最悪な状況でな。
Silva speaks sharply, his glare the same as when he fights. When I see that icy look, I suddenly feel as though he is no longer the Silva I know. It is the look of a man who would sacrifice anything to capture a record well. It makes me worried he will do something reckless.
やっぱりリガードウェルのことは恨んでるの？
嫌いな人間だってことははっきりしてるな。でも恨むっていうのとは違うかもしれない。少なくとも復讐をしたいわけじゃない。
そっか。
It is relieving to hear him say that. He glances over and puts on a smile.
なんだ復讐に走るとでも思ったか？
いや、昨日からシルバの様子がおかしかったし。
ああ、確かにそうだな。あいつが戻ってきたって知ってちょいと自分を見失ってたかもしれねえ。でもこの手で復讐しても俺がすっきりするだけだ。何の意味もね。なんていうか俺が腹を立ててるのはそうだな、何の報いも受けずに逃げ出したリガードウェルに対してだ。だから今回は絶対に裁きの場に引き出して罰を受けさせてやるとは思ってるぜ。
そっか。
まあそうやって前向きに考えられるようになったのもお前に話を聞いてもらったおかげかもしれねえな。
そうなの？
ああ、それこそ昨べからずっとまともに寝られてなかったからな。さっきまであんま冷静じゃなかった。でも今お前に吐き出してだいぶすっきりした気がする。ありがとな。
そっか。ならよかったわ。
Silver grins and starts to ruffle my hair again. Soon after he stops and draws his face to mine.
あ、悪い。お前にはこっちだったな。
Like, oh, sorry. We're doing this now. That way you don't feel like you're being treated like my sister. He kisses my ear again. He said it's an act of affection, but with his face so close and knowing he kissed me, it's terrible for my heart. I awkwardly look away and Silva smiles. He pats me on the head consolingly.
悪い悪い。でもこういう顔を見られるのも悪いもんじゃないな。
Not half bad seeing you blush like this.
とにかく俺がまた自分を見失いそうになってたらお前が止めてくれ。頼んだ、カタリナ。
Aw, that's sweet.
わかったわ。任せて。
I raise a fist and Silva bursts out laughing for some reason. I know, she's like taking it on as a quest.
頼もしいな。
Silva says that between laughs there are tears in his eyes. I don't think I said anything funny enough to make him tear up. I wonder what the reason could be. Seeing Catarina raise her fist makes my heart stir in a strange, restless way. I never thought someone like her could exist. Someone who would smile and tell me that I could count on her. Most people pity me or don't know how to respond to my story, but Catarina doesn't falter for a second.
さっきも旅に出るって言った俺に憧れるような顔してたしな。
I almost wanted to tell her that normally people are more pensive about these things. She really is an extraordinary noble woman.
でもそういうカタリナだからほだされるんだろうな。
I've never wanted sympathy. When I look into her face, I realize it's acknowledgement of where I am now that I've always sought.
まずいな。
To be honest, I want to take her in my arms and show her more than just the customs of my hometown. Oh my goodness. Probably just give her an actual kiss instead of a... But if I did that, the prince and his lot would have my neck. I'm not sure I could restrain myself from going further either. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to... Don't do that. You'd be in big trouble. For now, I have to focus on stopping Rigard well as soon as possible. That must be my priority. Collecting myself, I stand up and get ready to walk Catarina from my study.
にしてもまさかロジオンの話が嘘じゃなかったとはな。
Glancing at Catarina, I recall all the times Rosian told me the story of meeting Catarina as a child. The way he spoke of her, I figured he had to be exaggerating. But now I see she was all that and more. It is easy to understand how Rosian's whole life was changed in that meeting.
でもカタリナは自分がロジオンにしたことも覚えていないんだろうな。
When I thanked Catarina earlier, she just seemed confused. I don't remember, did they tell her in this one that she's met him in the past? I don't think they did. She has no idea just how much she's changed others' lives.
まあそこがいいところなんだろうけどな。
8 years ago, when Rosian took me in, Albert and Rosian's father were terribly surprised. It was entirely unlike him to do such a thing. And he said it was all thanks to that little girl. It was Catarina Clays who Rosian met when studying abroad in Sorciere. Rosian's way of thinking completely changed after meeting Catarina. He has told me 1,000 times at least, had he not met Catarina, he would have become a puppet with no will of his own.
だからきっとあの時もカタリナに出会わなきゃ俺にもう一度手を差し伸べたりなんてしなかったんだろうな。
He would have just done as the guards told him, and that would have been it for me. It was the expected outcome, and then I probably wouldn't have lived much of an upstanding life. The reason I could take Rosian's hand, the reason he reached out to me in the first place, all due to Catarina Clays.
まあ本人はんなこと知らないだろうけどな。
No, because you guys haven't told her. She's the type to be completely blind to the way the prince and her other friends are head over heels for her. She still thinks I see her as a little sister, even though those feelings are long gone.
厄介なのは カタリナの周りにいる王子様らだが。
Yeah, well, just get her to admit that she doesn't love Giorno and he'll let her go. Well, I'll make it work out somehow, thinking that I reach out to Catarina one more time. It has become a habit to pat her head now. That's really cute. Like, he's gonna be a thorn on my side, but I'll figure it out. It's really funny. That was so cute. I'm glad we finally got something in not the last chapter. Actually, oh, okay, I was thinking, I thought chapter 7 didn't have any choices, but they do. It was just covered up. Oh my goodness, chapter 7 is gonna be long too. I better start early tomorrow. And this one's not even over yet. After that, Silva and I exit Rosie's detached study. A moment later, the man himself appears from thin air.
話は聞けた？
It did more than talk.
ありがとう、ロジー。
It's not even affecting her. If it would have been a kiss on the mouth, she would have been definitely affected, but no, she's just not even affected. It's a little bit disappointing, actually.
よかった。
たく、余計な世話を焼くな。
仕方ないだろう。昔からシルバってば手がかかるんだから。
それはお互い様だろうが、お前のそういうところは悪い癖だぞ。
うちに来た時点でそれは諦めてよ。身内にはついおせっかいを焼きたくなるし、シルバはどうしたって弟みたいなものなんだから。
Speaking of little brother, that reminds me of when I first introduced Rosie to everyone on the vinculum.
でもカタリナの気持ちはよくわかるよ。俺にも大事な弟がいるからね。
ロジーにも弟が？
うん。家族はいいものだよね。
そういえば、ロジー、前に弟がいるって言ってなかった？私、まだ挨拶できてない気がするんだけど。
How dense are you? She's talking about him.
ああ、あの時話してた弟はシルバのことなんだ。
は？
There's the memory scenario. Invites and favors. It was just before I turned 18, after I was taken in by the Lindgren family. On that day, I was sparring with Rosian again.
はっ！遅い！
I deflected his wooden sword, drawing to the point of my own blade to his throat. Ever since we first began, I had always had the upper hand on our duels. My eyesight and innate physical abilities were part of it, but the biggest factor was my revolting experience at that laboratory.
言ってた。さすがだね、シルバは。
Rosian rubbed his hand with a wry smile. He must have been hurt when I deflected his sword. But he grabbed his sword from the grass and grinned at me.
そういえば、あの話考えてくれた？
His usual grin, I could tell exactly what he was referring to.
あの話ってのが養子の話なら答えは変わらない。遠慮する。だ。
I had no idea how many times he asked. As my coming of age approached, Rosian became increasingly insistent about adopting me formally into the family. In turn, I was running out of excuses.
残念だな。一日経てば考えも変わると思ったんだけど。
一日程度で変わるかよ。
だよね。
Rosian put on his resigned smile, but I knew he had far from given up. The usual farce. Tomorrow morning, he would start to press me all over again. I already knew. That had been our routine for months. I was already used to it. I wish he would give up already. It was getting tiresome.
そもそも俺みたいな出自がはっきりしない人間をこんな名門貴族のリンドグレーン家になんで入れたがるのかがわからねえんだけどな。
Oh, you're not an urchin. Normally, nobles would hate the introduction of any new blood, not to mention a commoner's. Yet Rosine refused to budge. I once asked him why, but Rosine only gave me a vague response. It was something like,
これはもうそういう家系の差がというかそれにシルバは放っておくと黙ってどこか遠いところに行っちゃいそうでなんだか危なっかしくて心配なんだよね
and so on, but I still don't know his true intentions. I was nearly an adult and eager to be left alone, but to the Lindgrens, I was a child who needed constant supervision.
手合わせだって最初から一度も負けたことねえのに
He still refused to trust me. He looked at me like a powerless child who would end up in a ditch if left on my own. Since I was taken in, I had considered leaving time and time again, but each time the Duke and Duchess would stop me. I let this go on and on. According to them,
子供が気にすることじゃない。せめて成人まではここにいなさい。
it was all the same. Honestly, it made no sense to me, and I felt guilty to be a random child dragging on their resources. So I would do my best to spar with Rosian or serve as his bodyguard. But per the law of the kingdom of Quid, I would soon be an adult.
さすがに成人になればこいつらも引き止めないだろ
I wasn't a child anymore. I decided how to live my life and take responsibility for myself.
う18になったらリンドグレン家を出てのんびり故郷を探す旅をしてみるのもいいかもな
I only had a hazy recollection of it, but there were lots of mountains and trees. Making my way with day labor jobs didn't sound like a bad life. While thinking that, I half-heartedly listened to Rosie and going on about being adopted. But then one day, the Duke told me about the Vinculum plan. The originator was none other than the notorious premier of Quid, Set Norden. Nothing was proven, but given its suspicious nature, the king ordered the Lindgren family to investigate. The investigation had to be top secret until concrete evidence could be found. Only a few were trusted with the matter.
ここに呼ばれてこの話を俺が聞かされてるってことは信頼できる頭数に含まれているってわけか
Considering that, I felt something cold fluttering in my chest. Just how many people would be told about this top secret matter in the first place? There were fewer people around than I expected. I wondered about the viability. After the Duke concluded his explanation, I voiced my concerns. Rosie responded.
ビンクルム号の件は話の規模が大きいしソルシエ王国も関わってくるからねそれに最小の息がかかったネズミがこちらの懐に紛れ込まないように警戒する必要もあるどうしても見極めが必要になるし話せる人間は限られるんだ
そうか
Rosie and Sai lacked allies. It became clear why I was informed. It was not blood or status they were after, but simple trust. And I, it seemed, was worthy of that trust.
ならここで俺も何らかの役割を果たさねえとな
I was indebted to the Lindgren family in ways I could never repay. If I could be of service to them, there was no other choice.
それで俺は何をすればいいんだ
I asked, and Rosie's eyes widened.
旅に出たいって言っていなかった
んな話聞いて悠長に言ってられるかよそれは保留だ
That's cute. Don't put self aside for duty. He really expected me to head off on a carefree journey after hearing all that. He smiled at me.
よかったシルバの力も借りられるなら助かるよ実は頼みたい仕事は山ほどあるんだでも造船にはしばらく時間がかかるだろうしつまりもう数年はこの家にいてくれるってことだよねまだ説得の機会はあるみたいでよかったよ
Rosie's grin was the same as ever. The heavy weight I felt earlier subsided.
まさかはめられたんじゃ
That's funny. I knew it wasn't the case, but seeing how happy Rosie was, it made me think it might have been an excuse to keep me around. I wondered if perhaps I had been too hasty to put my journey on hold. He really did seem so happy about it. Cute.
ったの？
ちょっと説明が面倒ではしょっちゃったんだ。それに実際弟みたいに思ってるからね。
いや、どっちかっていうと俺の方が兄。
年下なのに何言ってるのさ。だいたい反抗期ばかりで俺の兄だなんてよく言うよ。
いや、反抗期じゃねえし、むしろ俺の方がお前の面倒を見てるし。
はいはい、わかったから。
I see. The way Rosie pats Silva on the shoulder tells me exactly what their relationship is like. From appearance, Silva does look older, but when they're together like this, he really feels like the younger brother.
まあそんなわけで俺は弟みたいに思ってるし、父も養子に入れって誘ってるんだけどね。なかなか素直にうなずいてくれないんだ。
そう簡単なことじゃないだろう。周囲の目もあるだろうし、貴族社会は厄介だろうし。
なんて言った？
誰がこんなめんどくさいやつがついてくる家に入れるかって言ったんだよ。
You simpleton.
ね、カタリナ。素直じゃないところが可愛いだろ。
He never says what's on his mind. It is adorable.
可愛いって気色悪いこと言うな。
It's just gross.
でも俺は諦めないよ。それにシルバのことだし、そのうち折れてくれると思うんだ。
He will. He'll give in eventually. He likes his life too much. They sure are close. Watching them argue once reminds me how much they seem like real brothers. Duke Lindgren did say that he thought of Silva like his own son. Silva said that he doesn't know where his hometown is or if there are even any survivors of his tribe. But right here, Silva has family that cares about him. I think what Rosie and the Duke feel is the real thing. I am happy to see that there are people who genuinely care about Silva, and I end up laughing along with them. We talked so much today. Oh, she's blushing. That night, I roll around in bed thinking about what we talked about earlier. What an eventful life Silva has led. He lost his hometown and was sold into slavery. Then he was tortured by Rigardwell and made to do so much. And then he escaped and met Rosie. Silva said that if Rosie didn't take him in, he would have led a much worse life. He even said he might have become a pirate. Speaking of which, I think Silva said something similar while on the island. Yep.
ロジオに会ってなきゃ海賊こそ俺の天職だったなんてこともあるかもしんねえな。
This is going to be a 3-hour long video, isn't it? Pirates. Speaking of pirates. I remember Silva's outfit and appearance as a Sangria pirate in the Fantasy dreams. That's right, the Fantasy. I forgot about that. We're going to have the second choice finally. It completely slipped my mind, but I might still be in the timeline of the Fantasy of Fortune Lover right now. It's probably a bad idea to leave things as they are, right? Catarina might meet her doom. Silva has lived such a challenging life, and he looks like a romanceable Otomi character. This could definitely be Fantasy territory. Considering what I heard today, I have to assume there's a doom flag in here somewhere. I decided to hold a strategy meeting. Here we go.
それでは作戦会議を始めます。まずは情報を整理しましょう。おそらくですが、シルバはファンディスクの隠し攻略キャラだと思われます。でも夢の中で見たシルバとは全然違います。目の傷もないし、サングリード海賊団でもないし。しかし本人はロジーに出会っていなければ海賊になっていたかもしれないと話していました。つまりファンディスクでのシルバはもしもロジーに拾われていなかったらのシルバではないでしょうか。なるほど、きっとそうに違いないわ。 頭いいわねカタリナ。すごいそれっぽい。アランもキースもゲームとは違う感じに成長してるし、きっとそうだよ。確かにそうね。ゲームでのアランは試験での勝ち負けにこだわっていたけれど、実際は人には向き不向きがあるなんて話していたもの。キースもゲームではお色気たっぷりのチャラ男だったけれど、現実では立派に優しい紳士だしね。じゃあつまり今はファンディスクではあるものの、現実は変わってきているから、カタリナの破滅はなくなってるのかしら。きっとそうだよ。サングリード海賊団とは2回もあったけど破滅しなかったし、ファンディスクは終わったと思うな。いいえ、まだ油断はできないわ。マリアとシルバの恋をカタリナがうっかり邪魔しちゃったら破滅するかもしれないもの。
そうですね。ファンディスクの結末は分かりませんが、少なくとも2人が恋をしそうなタイミングがあったら、なるべく邪魔しないようにした方がいいかと。ではここは。
It's really funny considering like Silva hasn't even spoken once to Maria. But finally she's going to forget about the fan disc and just live like it's her normal life now. Yay.
ファンディスクは終わったと思っていつも通り行動をするということでいいですかな。
Yes.
いいです。
I'm sure it'll be fine, but well, what do I do tomorrow? I think that the plan to capture Rigardwell is going full force. Silva had his men investigate the activities of Rigardwell and the Premier's faction today. I spotted him giving orders earlier. I heard that they intend to strike at all the Premier's faction's known base of operations tomorrow, but there's not much I can do to help. Keith, Nicole, Mary, and the other magic users are joining the assault as well. Giordo and Alan are royalty. It would be inappropriate for them to attack, so they are to assert their pressure in high society. I thought I would be joining them, but Giordo told me to wait here in the Lindgren estate. It hurts to realize that I am not skilled enough to join. Aw. Maybe I can think of something to help with tomorrow. For now, I better get a good night's rest so I can be ready to go. As I turn over and try to get comfortable, the sketchbook I left on the table catches my eye. Oh shoot, I still have the sketchbook from Rosie. I'd better return it to him tomorrow. While thinking that, my consciousness fades. Wow, she doesn't think at all about the affectionate kiss he gave her. It's just not even entering her mind. That's a little bit disappointing. The next moment, I am fast asleep. I thought that would be the end, so I thought I'd include that little tidbit before it was over. Well, it's probably going to be just shy of 2.5 hours, which is fine. You got 5 CGs in that. I think I already know what I'm going to use for the thumbnail. And it's not going to be the spoiled CG. I want you guys to have the same reaction I did. That is much better. I am very happy with the way this chapter turned out because it was not looking good. In fact, it was declining. So I'm glad something finally happened. And it's not even the last chapter yet. So we have a lot to do in the last chapter. I feel like the last chapter is going to be pretty long too. It looks long. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I didn't get a video posted yesterday, but in my opinion, I think it was well worth the wait. If you did enjoy, please leave a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.